Welcome back to the Activist Training Lab video course. This is part 2 of strategy. If you haven't watched part 1, I'd really strongly recommend that you do that first, and you can find the link in the caption of this video. Like I said last time, I really love strategy, so I'm excited to dive in with you all today. To start off with a quick review, a strong campaign plan starts with a goal, then considers strategy, then chooses tactics. So goal, strategy, tactics in that order. One of the most common mistakes that newer organizers and even sometimes experienced organizers make is going straight from goal to tactics and skipping the strategy step. And this is a problem because the same tactics are not equally effective for different goals, different targets, or different contexts. So if you skip strategy, you often end up using tactics that aren't effective and don't work well. I'm going to try to illustrate this with a little example. So let's say I want my council member, JoJo Smith, to vote yes on a bill banning plastic straws. So I get 100 people who live in my district to call her and tell her they want her to vote yes. And it works. She votes yes on the bill and we achieve victory. Now let's say I want to build off the success of my campaign against JoJo by running a campaign against my local grocery store, and I want the owner to ban plastic bags in the store. So I get 100 people from my district, again, to call the owner and tell him they want him to stop using plastic bags. Except this time, nothing happens. The grocery store owner doesn't change anything, and plastic bags keep getting used. This confronts me with a question. Why did the tactic work once and then not work again? I'd argue that phone calling worked on Councilmember JoJo Smith because she cares about getting reelected, and because of that, she cares about the opinions of voters in her district. So having people call her effectively showed her that voting yes on the bill was in her self-interest and would benefit her in the long run. On the other hand, the grocery store owner does not represent people in the district and probably doesn't care that much about their opinions unless they're customers at his store. Even if I had gotten 100 customers to call him instead of just people who live in the district, he still might not care unless those customers said that they wouldn't shop at his store anymore until the plastic bag issue was addressed. At the end of the day, the grocery store owner's self-interest probably relates to profit, to the brand of his grocery store and reputation, to retaining customers, and the phone calls didn't effectively motivate him based on that self-interest. This illustrates the point that the same tactics are not equally effective for different goals, targets, and contexts, and that's why strategy is so key. In our last video, we talked about how the first step in designing a strategy is choosing an overall strategy for your campaign, like a hero strategy, a pressure strategy, a political cover strategy, or a persuasion strategy, or anything else you think will work. Today, we're going to talk about step 2 of strategy, which is using your power map to select viable tactics that align with your overall strategy and your target's motivations and will influence them successfully. Let's return to the goal of getting a grocery store owner to stop using plastic bags in his store. Here's a quick power map I made for the grocery store owner. You can see that he cares about profit for his store, his brand and reputation, which he's built on affordability and good customer service, and retaining existing customers and getting new customers. In a real campaign, I would try to make this map more detailed, but this will do for today. I'm going to use this worksheet to think through my strategy. First, I'm going to choose a pressure strategy for this campaign because nothing about the grocery store owner makes me think he cares about the environment or wants to build his store's brand on sustainability, so a hero campaign doesn't really make sense. Then I'm going to fill out this table here with the grocery store owner's motivations from the power map, and I'm going to think through some tactics I could use to influence him based on each of these motivations. So for profit, I could try to get a large number of customers to boycott the store, which would affect his bottom line and push him to ban plastic bags. For retaining his existing customers and getting new customers, we could maybe write letters to the editor to the local newspaper calling on the store to ban plastic bags, have a press conference in front of the store, and invite local news stations to cover it. If this negative media coverage turned away customers or even just made the store owner worry that it would turn away customers, that could motivate him to act. We could also have existing customers write letters saying they're considering switching to a competing store unless he bans plastic bags. For brand and reputation, maybe we could organize days where we get dozens of volunteers to stand in the customer service line all day and then ask to talk to the manager about banning plastic bags. This might slow up the customer service lines, which the store owner doesn't want since he's built a reputation around good service. And additionally, if the store refuses to listen to our concerns, we can post on social media or write letters to the editor again about how the store isn't as responsive to customers as they say they are, and that would also be a threat to the store's brand. Any of these tactics and many more that we didn't come up with could work to influence the store owner, because this time we've considered his self interest and what motivates him and come up with a list of strategic pressure tactics based on that. Now, let's do one more example of this process with a slightly different twist. So let's go back to the goal of getting Councilmember Jojo Smith to vote yes on a bill banning plastic straws. Here's a power map for Jojo. I've stolen this from our previous video on power mapping. And on the power map, you can see some of the things that influence her. So now I'm going to go back to the strategy worksheet, and once again, I'm going to circle pressure campaign. I don't think Jojo really cares about the plastic straw issue. Nothing in her power map indicated that she would want to be a hero on an environmental cause. So that's why I'm circling pressure again. This time, in the left column of the strategy worksheet, you can see that instead of motivations, it says constituencies. So instead of things that motivate her, I'm going to use her power map to put all the individuals, groups, and organizations that have influence over her into the strategy worksheet. So we have voters in her district, since she wants to get reelected, her neighbors in Tree Hill, her city council allies, Nene and Bibi, her endorsers, the local business bureau and the Women's Rights Alliance, and the small business community generally, since she's built a reputation on caring about small business. And what I'm going to do is in the right side of the table, I'm going to fill in tactics that would mobilize these different groups. For example, I could have voters in her district sign petitions, make phone calls, write letters, and post on social media, telling her that they want her to vote yes on the bill and it will influence how they vote in the next election. I could try to get her neighbors to put up yard signs about the bill. I could ask Nene or Bibi to publicly support this issue or the bill on social media or write an op-ed supporting it. I could have a sign-on letter for her endorsers or for local businesses, or try to get her endorsers maybe to write op-eds in a local paper saying that they support this issue. This table is just a very slightly different version of the same method I used for the grocery store owner. And in both cases, just to reiterate, the key thing is that we're thinking about what motivates the target and how we can use people power to influence them based on those motivations. That brings us to the end of strategy part 2. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you want to learn how to pick the best or most creative tactics for your campaign, you should head to our next video, Organizing Tactics, which flows pretty logically from the content we covered in this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel or visit our website for more Activist Training Lab content. See you next time.